Imagine finally buying your first home only to realize the excitement quickly fades under an unexpected wave of financial pressure. You proudly hold the keys while quietly ignoring the creeping worry that your budget might already be stretched too thin. The first month feels manageable until you notice your checking account shrinking much faster than you ever anticipated before. Suddenly, dinner becomes ramen, nights out disappear, and every unusual sound in the house triggers instant panic inside you. Nobody warned you that home ownership in 2025 could feel less like achievement and more like barely controlled financial chaos. Your friends congratulate you, but they do not see the fear building every time another unexpected expense appears suddenly again. Your family calls your new house a milestone, while you quietly calculate if you can survive another expensive month again. Deep down, you begin asking whether you truly own this house or whether it ultimately owns every part of you. My name is Max, and I study money, housing trends, and why hardworking Americans often feel financially trapped today. In this video, I want to explain why so many homeowners are struggling, despite doing everything society told them correctly. By the end, you will understand the hidden costs, dangerous assumptions, and financial traps quietly forming around many homeowners today. More importantly, you will learn the steps needed to protect yourself so your home strengthens your life rather than weakening it. Let's begin by understanding the real 2025 housing landscape, because numbers today paint a dramatically different picture entirely. According to Zillow, the typical American home now costs around $360,700 nationwide. That figure reflects an increase far outpacing income growth and creating affordability challenges for millions of regular families nationwide. Panadorium. Meanwhile, the National Association of Home Builders reports nearly 75% of households cannot afford a median-priced new home. Median new construction now averages roughly $459,826 at common interest rates. When three-quarters of American families cannot reasonably buy a new home, the market signals a significant structural imbalance existing. The affordability crisis becomes clear when comparing home prices to actual income levels across most American cities today. Harvard's Housing Studies Center reports typical homes now cost around 5 times median household income nationwide. Historically, homes average closer to 3 times income, meaning today's buyers face significantly heavier financial burdens immediately. When housing grows faster than wages, normal families cannot keep pace no matter how carefully they budget or plan. Many assume rising home values guarantee wealth, but that belief becomes dangerous when affordability disappears entirely from reach. High prices push buyers to stretch budgets further, making down payments smaller, while overall financial risk grows steadily higher. Many households accept unstable conditions simply because they fear renting forever or missing the opportunity to enter ownership. As demand increases from emotional pressure rather than financial readiness, the market reinforces a cycle hurting new buyers. Realtor data shows the traditional rule limiting housing costs to 30% of income is broken in many cities. In fact, 47 of America's 50 largest metros now exceed the affordability benchmark many experts previously recommended universally. When families consistently spend above recommended thresholds, everyday life expenses become increasingly difficult to manage responsibly. Rising costs create vulnerable homeowners, placed one emergency away from significant debt or dangerous financial instability unexpectedly occurring. The danger becomes even more serious considering most buyers underestimate the true monthly costs associated with home ownership. Mortgage payments form only part of the picture because taxes, insurance, utilities, and maintenance all increase long-term expenses. Census Bureau data shows homeowners with mortgages now average more than $2,035 monthly nationwide. That number keeps increasing annually, leaving families with less financial flexibility or cushion for accidental, unexpected problems. Combine that with insurance hikes, property tax increases, and routine repairs, and the total monthly burden climbs significantly. Many households never anticipate that real home ownership costs can reach $2,600 to $3,000 monthly easily. These hidden expenses create the foundation of being house poor, where ownership consumes nearly all disposable income available. When monthly budgets tighten, families lose the ability to build savings consistently or invest meaningfully toward long-term goals. Unexpected repairs immediately push homeowners into debt because emergency funds rarely survive these larger recurring expenses. A broken appliance or leaking roof can trigger financial spirals when every remaining dollar is already fully allocated. Many homeowners then rely on credit cards, creating compounding interest burdens that worsen their financial situation rapidly. Once trapped homeowners often cannot downsize easily due to transaction costs, emotional attachment, or unfavorable market timing. Mortgage obligations begin dictating career decisions, forcing people to remain in stressful jobs purely for stability. This reduces personal freedom and limits opportunities to pursue healthier or more profitable long-term career paths. At this point, homeownership stops being empowering and instead becomes a heavy obligation restricting nearly every decision. These pressures accumulate slowly, causing stress, anxiety, and persistent financial fear that follows homeowners constantly. Many homeowners secretly feel ashamed believing they failed financially despite doing everything society encouraged them to do. The truth is systemic housing issues, not personal failure, are responsible for trapping many hardworking Americans financially today. Understanding these realities is the first step toward avoiding the dangerous house poor cycle affecting millions nationwide. Now let's explore why the belief that owning a home equals guaranteed financial success can be dangerously misleading. For decades, Americans were taught that renting wastes money, while owning automatically builds wealth, stability, and long-term financial security. That message sounds inspiring, but becomes dangerous when repeated without context, nuance, or awareness of current housing market realities. Generations pass down the belief that successful adults must own homes by 30 or risk falling behind socially and financially. Parents encouraged homeownership because it worked during their time when prices aligned far more closely with typical household incomes. Today, the financial environment is dramatically different, making old advice risky when applied blindly to modern conditions. Many buyers feel pressured by friends purchasing homes and assume renting automatically means failure or irresponsible financial behavior. Cultural expectations often push families to stretch budgets dangerously rather than delay buying until circumstances align more safely. Emotional pressure leads many people to borrow more money than they can realistically afford despite obvious financial warning signs. Banks frequently approve buyers for large mortgages because lending guidelines reflect income numbers rather than real-life expenses. Buyers often confuse loan approval with affordability, even though both concepts differ significantly, especially under current economic conditions. A mortgage lender decides what you can borrow while your budget determines what you can actually sustain comfortably. Confusing those two ideas places homeowners at risk because borrowing capacity rarely reflects true long-term comfort. Real estate marketing also reinforces these pressures by suggesting buyers must move quickly before prices rise further. Urgency-driven messaging causes rushed decisions, leading families into long-term commitments without fully understanding consequences. Many buyers underestimate maintenance responsibilities because rental life previously shielded them from major home repair costs. When transitioning into ownership, people often overlook necessary reserves needed to handle inevitable breakdowns and replacements. New homeowners quickly discover that houses constantly require attention, repairs, upgrades, and ongoing financial investment. These financial surprises accumulate, slowly draining savings and increasing stress until families realize they are overwhelmed. Being house poor results when housing costs consume disproportionate income, leaving minimal flexibility for emergencies or goals. At this point, ownership becomes a burden because every paycheck feels predetermined with little room for personal choice. Emergencies become frightening events because even small, unexpected expenses can disrupt already fragile monthly budgets. A broken dishwasher may seem minor, but becomes significant when homeowners lack savings for immediate replacement or repair. Larger issues like leaking roofs or failing HVAC systems create enormous debts capable of destabilizing entire households. These events strike without warning, leaving families stressed, vulnerable, and uncertain about their financial futures. Many homeowners respond by using credit cards, creating high-interest balances that grow rapidly and become unmanageable. Compounding interest quickly transforms temporary problems into long-term financial burdens that restrict household flexibility. As debts grow, families become more dependent on consistent income, making career change nearly impossible without significant risk. Homeowners often endure demanding jobs because quitting might jeopardize their ability to maintain necessary mortgage payments. Staying in stressful workplaces harms mental health, yet feels unavoidable when financial obligations grow uncomfortably heavy. These pressures limit opportunities to pursue promotions, career shifts, or entrepreneurial ventures requiring temporary instability. Over time, homeowners feel stuck professionally because mortgage payments dictate every major decision they must consider. Financial constraints then influence personal relationships, family plans, and even long-term dreams once considered achievable. Vacations become rare, hobbies become expensive, and social events become stressful reminders of shrinking personal freedom. This psychological pressure builds slowly, leaving homeowners anxious, frustrated, and embarrassed about their financial constraints. Many feel isolated, believing they are alone, despite millions experiencing identical struggles across the entire country. Society rarely discusses these issues openly, creating the false impression that struggling homeowners simply mismanage money. In reality, the modern housing system places average families at significant disadvantage compared to previous generations entirely. Compounding factors, including stagnant wages, rising prices, and lending practices, all contribute to this widespread problem. The emotional toll intensifies when homeowners realize their dream purchase now controls their time, energy, and finances. Many describe feeling trapped inside comfortable-looking homes that silently create constant financial tension daily. Homeownership should deliver freedom, but for many buyers, it creates restrictive obligations, limiting creativity and choices. Understanding these pressures is essential because awareness helps homeowners recognize patterns leading into house-poor situations. Once homeowners understand the underlying system, they can make better decisions that support long-term financial well-being. The next step is learning how house-poor conditions specifically form and why they persist despite good intentions. Let's examine the exact mechanisms turning well-intentioned home purchases into overwhelming burdens for many families today. First, homeowners underestimate accumulated costs because monthly payments hide countless additional financial responsibilities. Taxes, insurance, utilities, and maintenance often exceed expectations, especially when inflation drives prices upward yearly. Many families discover their true costs only after moving, when bills reveal a much heavier financial reality. Without prepared savings, these ongoing expenses quickly overwhelm monthly budgets, leaving households vulnerable to emergencies. These compounding pressures form the foundation of becoming house poor, turning homeownership into a challenging financial struggle. When homeowners lack emergency funds, even predictable seasonal maintenance becomes stressful because every repair threatens their limited financial stability. Roof repairs, plumbing issues, and electrical problems appear randomly, leaving families scrambling for solutions they cannot comfortably afford. Ignoring these repairs only worsens long-term conditions, eventually resulting in even higher bills few households can manage. Delayed maintenance becomes a dangerous cycle because temporary fixes often lead to more serious long-term structural issues. Many homeowners silently hope nothing breaks, yet houses naturally deteriorate regardless of financial readiness or personal expectation. When savings disappear, homeowners often sacrifice essentials like healthcare, transportation, or balanced nutrition just to cover housing costs. Cutting these necessities harms overall well-being and increases long-term risk, eventually amplifying financial stress even further. House-poor conditions therefore affect far more than budgets. They influence physical health, mental stability, and emotional resilience. Constant financial fear triggers anxiety, making every unexpected sound or bill feel like an immediate personal threat. Over time, this persistent tension becomes exhausting, leaving homeowners mentally drained and emotionally overwhelmed daily. Many homeowners avoid social events because participating requires spending money they do not comfortably possess anymore. This isolation reduces happiness and creates emotional distance from friends who may not understand their struggles. Financial insecurity also affects family dynamics, leading to increased arguments, guilt, frustration, and quiet resentment. Parents feel pressure hiding financial stress from children while privately worrying about future stability and security. Partners may disagree about spending priorities, creating conflict intensified by constant money-related fears and limitations. These emotional burdens accumulate, slowly shaping daily life until homeowners feel disconnected from previous joys and interests. Many homeowners describe feeling trapped inside a home that outwardly symbolizes success but internally feels restrictive. When every paycheck is committed before arrival, families lose flexibility to pursue meaningful goals or spontaneous activities. Dreams like travel, hobbies, or education become distant because financial obligations consume nearly all available resources. Even small purchases require careful contemplation because one mistake might destabilize an already fragile financial situation. This constant caution feels exhausting, leaving homeowners fatigued before each new month begins again inevitably. Eventually, some homeowners question whether buying was truly the right decision given their ongoing financial struggles. Many fear selling because it feels like failure, even when selling might improve their overall financial health. Emotional attachment to the home complicates logical decisions, making it harder to take actions supporting long-term well-being. Understanding these emotional barriers is important because rational financial decisions often require confronting difficult feelings. Before meaningful change occurs, homeowners must accept their true financial situation without guilt, shame, or unrealistic expectations. Recognizing house poor conditions is not failure, but rather an opportunity to realign decisions with healthier financial goals. Homeowners who acknowledge their limits can begin exploring strategies to restore stability and regain control over finances. The first strategy involves evaluating monthly spending and identifying unnecessary expenses, draining limited financial resources. Many families discover they unknowingly spend hundreds monthly on subscriptions, impulse purchases, or unnecessary conveniences. Redirecting those funds creates breathing room, allowing homeowners to slowly rebuild emergency savings and reduce financial stress. Budget awareness empowers households to prioritize essentials while eliminating expenses that no longer align with their goals. The next strategy focuses on increasing income, because earning slightly more can dramatically improve financial stability quickly. Extra income from part-time worksite gigs or freelancing provides crucial flexibility during periods of heavy housing expenses. Even modest increases help families manage emergencies without resorting to credit cards or accumulating unnecessary debt. Homeowners may also consider requesting raises or exploring new roles, potentially offering higher long-term earning potential. These decisions require courage but often lead to improved financial confidence and greater overall household stability. Another strategy involves refinancing mortgages when interest rates decline, creating opportunities to reduce monthly payments significantly. Lower interest rates decrease financial pressure and free additional funds for savings, investment, or essential household needs. Homeowners should carefully evaluate refinancing costs, ensuring long-term savings outweigh upfront fees and transactional expenses. Renting out a spare room or unused space can also generate meaningful supplemental income, supporting monthly mortgage payments. Though this option sacrifices some privacy, it often prevents homeowners from drowning under overwhelming financial responsibilities. For some families, selling the home becomes the most realistic path toward rebuilding long-term financial security responsibly. Selling may feel emotionally difficult, but it allows homeowners to escape burdens restricting growth, freedom, and peace. Renting after selling is not failure. It's a strategic decision allowing families to recover and rebuild sustainable stability. Many households that sell later regain financial strength and eventually repurchase homes better aligned with their budgets. Preparing future purchases carefully is essential because buying without realistic planning often leads directly back into trouble. A safe guideline involves choosing homes priced around 2.5 to 3 times the annual household income. This range helps families maintain balance between housing costs and maintaining a healthy, enjoyable lifestyle overall. Buyers should also save larger down payments because bigger contributions significantly lower monthly housing costs long-term. Larger down payments reduce interest costs, lower monthly obligations, and protect homeowners from unexpected financial pressures throughout difficult periods. Saving patiently before purchasing helps families avoid stretching their budgets dangerously and entering stressful house poor conditions prematurely. Building a strong emergency fund is equally crucial because unexpected repairs can appear anytime regardless of financial readiness. Experts generally recommend saving between 3 and 6 months of expenses before committing to any home purchase. This financial cushion shields families from major disruptions and prevents emergencies from turning into overwhelming long-term debt. Without an emergency fund, homeowners risk falling behind quickly whenever unexpected repairs or sudden income changes occur. Preparing before buying allows families to enjoy homeownership confidently rather than worrying constantly about monthly survival. Careful planning transforms ownership from restrictive obligation into empowering asset capable of supporting long-term goals. Patience often benefits buyers because housing markets shift and better opportunities eventually appear for prepared households. Waiting until conditions improve helps buyers find homes aligning with both their budgets and overall lifestyle needs. Responsible homeownership begins with understanding actual costs rather than relying on outdated assumptions passed down generationally. When buyers acknowledge the full financial picture, they make decisions grounded in clarity rather than pressure or fear. Education empowers families to choose homes that strengthen their financial health instead of jeopardizing long-term security. Buying within realistic limits ensures homeowners can continue investing, growing savings, and pursuing personal goals confidently. Balanced financial decisions protect families from the emotional strain commonly experienced by millions trapped in house-poor situations. True homeownership success appears when families maintain stability, freedom, and flexibility rather than constant financial anxiety. A well-planned purchase allows homeowners to enjoy their space without sacrificing essential parts of their lives or happiness. Homeownership should support your dreams, not restrict them, enabling growth rather than creating long-lasting financial limitations. Understanding these principles helps buyers avoid hidden dangers and navigate the housing market with confidence and clarity. Many families regain control simply by reassessing their budgets and adjusting expectations to align with realistic circumstances. Honest reflection reveals whether current housing choices support long-term well-being or quietly undermine overall financial health. If ownership restricts your lifestyle more than it supports your goals, reconsidering your approach may provide healthier outcomes. Selling becomes reasonable when the home no longer contributes positively to your family's long-term financial stability. Renting temporarily can restore flexibility, allowing families to rebuild savings and strengthen their financial foundation deliberately. There is no shame in adjusting your path because responsible decisions create healthier and more secure futures. Strong financial footing offers freedom to pursue opportunities, handle emergencies, and enjoy life without constant worry. Rebuilding stability takes time, but each small step forward brings families closer to sustainable long-term success. The key is prioritizing financial health rather than social expectations or outdated beliefs about home ownership. Your worth is not determined by whether you rent or own, but by how well you manage your life. Choosing the right home at the right time ensures your investment truly benefits you and your loved ones. Home ownership should be a tool supporting your dreams instead of a burden limiting your potential and happiness. When approached wisely, buying a home becomes one of the most empowering decisions a family can ever make. Careful preparation, thoughtful budgeting, and long-term planning create stability that protects families from unnecessary stress. Ultimately, your goal should be building a life where financial freedom feels normal rather than constantly out of reach. Avoiding house-poor conditions begins with understanding that bigger homes do not always equal better financial outcomes. True wealth grows from consistency, patience, and intentional choices rather than overextending yourself to impress others. A smaller, affordable home often delivers greater happiness because financial breathing room dramatically improves everyday life. When you prioritize balance, you gain time, energy, and freedom to enjoy meaningful experiences with people you love. Strong money habits enable families to face unexpected challenges confidently without fearing immediate financial disaster. Housing should enhance your life story, not dominate every chapter with stress, anxiety, and overwhelming responsibility. Choosing wisely today ensures your home serves as a foundation for growth rather than a source of constant pressure. Every family deserves a home that supports peace, stability, and long-term financial well-being without unnecessary compromise. When you understand real costs, you make choices aligned with your values and future aspirations effectively. Smart planning empowers you to avoid the common pitfalls trapping many homeowners in difficult financial situations. A thoughtful approach transforms homeownership from a stressful obligation into an uplifting and rewarding experience. Preparing intentionally today ensures you wake up tomorrow feeling supported rather than constrained by your home. Your financial health matters more than meeting expectations because stability enables greater fulfillment and opportunity. If this message resonates, take time to reflect honestly about your current housing situation and future goals. Share your experience in the comments because your story can help others understand they are not struggling alone. If you found value here, consider subscribing because together we can build stronger financial futures grounded in clarity.